Hi everybody. It's Erin coming to you from my couch again. I did make keep my promise today to go ahead and do day 2 of my borderline personality blog. I really don't feel like doing it, but I promised myself. What I also did, you will notice me reading off of my notes. Um, as I said yesterday, borderline's so up and down when you're not in the moment, it's hard to describe it. So here goes my day. Um, we'll see here. Um, First, I do want to say that I kind of had a little resistance in doing this because it's kind of embarrassing. In the past, I've been called crazy and things like that for having a borderline personality disorder, and it's kind of the shame and embarrassment is kind of getting a hold of me, which is why I did not haven't done a blog like this in the past. But I decided to do it anyways. I'm very tired. I'm drained from work. Um, and I didn't feel like doing this, but I did it anyways. Anyways, to start my day, I did wake up today. The first thought that I thought when I woke up was I couldn't wait to get to work because my house felt so unsafe. Um, I didn't feel like I could be myself. Um, I get jealous of people when you go over to their houses, and you can tell they're so relaxed. It should be their place of comfort. I don't feel comfortable or safe at my house because I feel so alone. Um, then, when I started to drive to work, I started kind of obsessing about the fact and judging the fact that I felt so alone and so unsafe. Um, I then talked to my friend Leslie on the way to work, and we're close. She's my best friend. I met her at my old job, which is weird because um, I don't make friends easily. Um, but I've been friends with her for about 10 years, so I did talk to her and we joked around and things. So for that moment, I felt safe. And I can, when I got off the phone with her, I was like, I wish I could feel that way all the time. Um, and I knew that she felt safe with or without me, whether or not she talked to me. And it kind of made me jealous. Like other people don't just have the sense of safety that I don't have. That was really hard. Um, I finally got to work. Um, I do really well at work as far as like the scores go. Um, our scores affect our paycheck and things like that, and I do really, really well, thankfully. So you would think that with me doing well at work that I would have a good attitude, or I would feel safe and welcomed, but I don't. I compare myself to others um, at work. Instead of being proud of myself um, and being grateful for the fact that I am blessed, with me, I was poor for years. With me making, good money and things like that for, excuse me, things on commission, I'm able to take FMLA and financially still be okay and things, and that's a blessing. So instead of being proud of myself for kind of shining in that way, I just berate myself. Um, at work, nobody knows what's going on with me. Unfortunately, I kind of am in an environment where a lot of the people that I'm surrounded with, not all of them, but a lot of them are haters. There was a woman at work that had schizophrenia, God bless her soul, and everybody was talking about her and was so mean. And a lot of the people that I work with, any mental health issues that you would tell them would be judged. So that makes me feel unsafe also. Um, I was very jealous about when I got to work of all the people around me because all the people around me are safe. They have a place to be safe at. They don't know what it's like to be me. They don't know what it's like to constantly feel unsafe. Um, and I wouldn't even say that it made me jealous as much as it hurts my heart. It makes me sad because everybody else seems to be so safe and I'm not. Um, and I haven't been for a very, very, very long time. And I've tried to make myself feel safe. and I just don't know if I ever will, and it's so sad. It's so sad. Um, I was embarrassed. Um, I started to wish, almost fantasize about a guy that would just make me feel safe. Um, I started to think about reaching out to an ex of mine who is very abusive, which is kind of weird because you wouldn't think that somebody that was abusive would make me feel safe. Um, but he made me feel safer than somebody that wasn't abusive. Um, so I feel like I needed him. Like I needed somebody to rescue me. Like, please, please help me, make me feel safe. Like a kid, like a baby who wants their mom. Um, that's hard. That's a hard, 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 hard feeling. That's a terrible feeling. Terrible. Um, I remember the first time that I felt the type of unsafety that I feel daily. I'll get around somebody, and all of a sudden it's like my heart starts palpitating, and it's like, I guess I just get it's not a panic attack. I've had panic attacks. It's more like, maybe it's a lesser form of it, but it's more like my heart starts pounding, and it's like, this isn't safe, this isn't safe, this isn't safe, this isn't safe. Whether I tell myself it is or not, it's like a body automatic reaction. And I remember the first time that I ever felt that way. I'll never forget. I was probably 18 or 19 years old, and I was working at a convenience store. And I always had anxiety. I always had borderline personality disorder. However, my mom had kicked me out of my house. I slept in my car for almost a year. I isolated myself when I slept in my car. And I got an apartment, which I eventually got thrown out of because I couldn't afford it. But I got myself an apartment, and I got a job, and I was working there. And I always had worked. I worked at McDonald's for years and hid my borderline and was able to act normal, and actually went to work to escape life. And I remember I was talking to the girl, a coworker. And previously, I would have enjoyed that. I enjoyed going to work and pretending everything was okay, and just the fakeness of it. And I remember talking to her, and I was like, oh my God, this isn't safe anymore. It was weird. It was so weird. Like, I don't even know how to describe it. Things that weren't safe, that were safe, weren't. Like, I could be sitting here, and then all of a sudden, like, that wasn't safe. And I remember thinking, how did this used to feel safe to me? How come the people that I used to enjoy talking to, my stomach now gets in knots, and I want to cry. Like, it feels so unsafe. I want to cry. It's a deep, deep, deep sense of not being safe. And I get those feelings many times throughout the day. Just today, for example, I got it when I woke up in the morning, when I went to work. When I was talking to this girl at work that for some reason sparks insecurity in me. When I came home from work, and I find myself like on breaks and things like that, instead of wanting to be outside and socialize, I find myself going back into work because work feels safe for me. And that absolutely, absolutely breaks my heart, makes me feel hopeless and helpless, and it's horrible. It's the most horrible thing. Again, I do think it has to do with the borderline. When I was 18, I also, on top of that, developed PTSD. So I think that the PTSD has something to do with it, but it's horrible. And to be honest, I just want it to end. I don't want to live my life like that every day. It's so sad and so scary. And I don't know how to stop it. And I'll do anything I can to stop it. And it makes me want to cry because I feel like if I tell people, they're going to get mean, they're going to be mean to me or cruel. And my mother was always so cruel. Every time I had an emotion or a need or something like that, my mom was always so cruel. People have been cruel to me when I've showed vulnerability. when I first got PTSD and my hands were shaking, and I'm just so afraid to show vulnerability because I can't, I think that I will physically break down if I'm humiliated in that way again. So it's a very sad thing because I don't tell anybody. I'm ashamed, and it's more so than being ashamed, I'm protecting myself because I just can't feel that again. It hit my core so much to be so fragile and be so humiliated. Um, it's it's a horrible, 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 horrible feeling. Um, so now I sit alone um, in my apartment. Just looking at this video is bumming me out because it just is a visual manifestation of reality and how alone I am. Um, and I wish there was a Prince Charming that would tell me it was going to be okay. Um, and the guys that do want to date me, I kind of write them off because I don't think they can handle me. Or I don't think they can protect me. I don't think anybody can protect me. And it makes me scared, probably because I can't protect myself. Um, one last thing I want to say. I was watching a show that I watch normally, that I've been watching for years, and the girl on the show had a guy that was being a jerk to her, and she started crying, and her friend cried with her and said, "We're here for you," and it really hurt because I don't think any friends that I have, even the friends I've had, and the only friends I have are the ones I've had for years, would cry for me. And I don't know why. I'm not good enough. That is it. I told you on day 2, I knew I was going to have issues. I always do on the days that I work. So have a good night, and I will definitely be back tomorrow. And at least I did the video. Okay, bye.